What is your advice for the future of Europe? Because we are together now in European Union, 27 countries, and I think this is very important issue to get that people they get together, and this gap will be smaller and smaller. That is my question. What do you think about it? What is your advice?
Yes. It is a problem you cannot solve easily, because it will take time. I think just what's happening now is good, because more and more people in West and East are traveling, and I'm mixing, especially young people, and they just evenings in the pub and so on, falling in love too. You learn when you are 25. And also I think what we call the Europe of realities, as opposed to Europe of institutions, make a change, but in my opinion, the Europe of realities, all kinds of companies, businessmen, universities, and so on, were working together, closer and closer. And what is the most important thing of this part of Europe, that working together is not an exception anymore. It is normal. It is very normal that the University of Amsterdam works together with the University of Frankfurt, or the University of Istanbul, or University of Warsaw. That is more and more just normal, just like you work together in one country. I think this practical Europe is also very important. Of course, there are experiences with European newspapers. The problem is at the moment that the only few real European newspapers are American newspapers. If you want to reach most of European or politicians and intellectuals, you write an article in the International Herald Tribune. It's of course very strange. Same with the New York Review of Books. But slowly on, I think we will define also Europe more and more, and better European discussion. I call them all the European coffee houses. We need them desperately, because politics. You can have formal politics in the parliament, but the real roots of politics and the real discussions is of course always in the coffee house. And newspapers are kind of coffee houses, good enough. But the internet can play their good role. But we have to find out, for instance, our common language. The language is still common. And further on, I'm always thinking, when you look how a country like France became one nation, it happened only in the 19th century. In the middle of the 19th century, most of France was divided in regions and even in small towns. And in at least half of, perhaps even more, 2/3 of the French didn't speak French at all. They spoke patois, dialect. It was not one nation at all. And still within 2 generations, it was really one nation. It jumped into the First World War as a one nation. And when you look back, you'll see a few things which made France one nation. But first, the railroads, very important. The European equivalent is of course the high-speed train. It is really, these kind of things are very important, because it is not, they bring like cities and countries really together in a very practical way. The railroads worked in that way in 19th century France. The second thing was the newspapers, and through the newspaper development of one language. And the third thing was the conscription. When you had to be in the army for at least 2 or 3 years. So a young boy from Bordeaux spent 2 years in the same barrack with a few guys from Marseille and a few guys from Lille. And when you read French historians, they tell, oh, this was very important, for the nation building, because these boys started to know each other and mixed with each other, took over each other's habits. And we're looking at that, I think we can, perhaps for Europe, invent not a conscription, but much more, and on a much broader scale, something for kids between 18 and 20 years old. Some exchanges, perhaps you can offer them when someone is working in a hospital in Warsaw, some Dutch people and some Polish people are working in hospitals in Paris and France again in Amsterdam and so on and so on. And they are offered by the European Union, let's say, some reward that the European Union pays the first year of study, something like that. I think such a big scale program would help a lot. And I think really it is realistic because all kids of 18 and 20 years, they will all often travel a year. They have a natural feeling to go out a little bit. I think when you look at experience in other countries, such large-scale exchange organized by the European Union will change the zone.
So we need more interaction.
Yes, but also organized interaction, especially with kids between, let's say, between 18 and 20 years. A European year, let's say, a European volunteer year.
It's a good idea.